Welcome back, YouTubers, to another TNA Impact Wrestling review with us, the British Fist!
Ka-ching!
Yes, ka-ching indeed, MJ. Hashtag on Twitter, that should be trending worldwide, in my opinion. I am the one and only Washington Wizards B-ball jersey wearing, Michael Jordan supporting Daniel Parkin, and this guy sitting next to me rubbing his hands in anticipation for this review. It's none other than NJ.
God, that was hot. What's up?
All that friction there, NJ.
Yes,
there's a lot of friction between people on this show. That is generally what feuds are for, and clever word I use here, gaining some heat. There we go. What a joke that was to start off the show. Subscribe up above, like this video, and comment your thoughts on this Impact Wrestling show down in the comment section below.
Make sure you contact us in the links in the description box below.
Yes, and please don't forget, the WrestleMania series will continue. I know this is a TNA video, but we will continue to do a WrestleMania series. The next one we'll upload is on Saturday, and it will be WrestleMania 19 for you guys, so make sure you watch out for that. But for now, we'll focus on TNA. Again, a big shout out to TNA Swerve for featuring these videos of ours. Very, very pleasure to be part of your site, aren't we, NJ?
We are indeed.
Yes, Chris Regal there. And all the other people on TNA Swerve. We opened up this edition of TNA Impact. Well, this is basically all about Sting's retirement, and they opened up with Bobby Roode talking about making Sting retire and how he wants to talk about himself and his accomplishments, and ending Sting's accomplishments would be a great achievement in his career, which, let's face it, it would be. If Roode could end Sting's career, it would be a big accomplishment for someone like Bobby Roode.
Well, the thing I've noticed about heels, which is exactly what they should be doing, is being confidently.
Yes.
And that's exactly what Bobby Roode's doing. Yeah, we all know that Sting's the icon, going to be staying on for much longer, but the way Bobby Roode spoke, it was really good for him and got his character looking strong and confident about what he's done against Sting.
Don't let the door hit you on the ass! Yeah, but I mean, this was setting up to a segment later on in the night to do with Sting's retirement. It would be the main event. This opener was very short. Bobby Roode got his point across. It was short and to the point, and it led us on to our next match on the evening. So it was just a quick, short opening segment to set up the main event, which is the whole Sting retiring thing, which was kind of what this show revolved around, essentially, wasn't it?
It was, and obviously with Bobby Roode and Sting being the big storyline that's going in TNA at the minute, obviously they're going to have as much involvement as they can in the show.
Yes, indeed. After that, we had a little video. We had a little backstage segment with Crimson and Morgan kind of semi-arguing about their tag title loss, but they're still in unison. It seems like they're really trying to plant the seed for a Crimson heel turn, doesn't it, with this kind of stuff?
The fact they said that this is their chance to make up for it, and that you could actually see that there's tension between them, so it's not quite right, and obviously that's going to build up to something later after this show.
Yes, and this led to Crimson and Morgan versus Samoa Joe and Magnus for the TNA Tag Team Championships in a rematch, of course. We got the hype for this last week in that little backstage segment they had. I don't know about you, NJ, but I would have liked maybe for TNA to have stretched this feud until Victory Road, because I'm not really sure who else that Samoa Joe and Magnus really have to feud with now, really.
Even though, when it comes to this, Matt Morgan and Crimson, yes, they got future ideas for them, but at the main point of TNA, with their tag team not being so strong, they do need to make the feuds they have going as long as they can until TNA progresses with other stuff. So with this feud, it should have got more time before they finished it, like they pretty much have tonight.
I mean, it's been a good feud. I wouldn't have minded to have seen another match at Victory Road. I'm just saying it could have been done at a pay-per-view rather than on free TV. Just a little point I thought I'd make there. We had an advert 2 minutes into the match, which kind of hurt the match slightly. But the match itself, for what it was all about getting Magnus and Joe the win while Crimson accidentally hits Morgan to kind of tease that match that we're probably going to see at Lockdown now with the cold Crimson heel turn. They're kind of working this match now. Gives us, like it did against All Odds, it gives us that early tease for that Crimson heel turn and that match at Lockdown, which Morgan and Crimson are essentially going to have, which I think would be pretty good.
Well, we've had Matt Morgan and Crimson having their rematch now. This match, I'm going to say, was, for the spots it had inside, it looked good. I was enjoying it. I was thinking, good, they're following on from the match they had.
For longer.
And it would have done much longer. The way it was going, I felt that the dominance, the moves, the progression of the new tag champs could have had more time. But over what we got, it was an okay tag team match.
It'd just be interesting to see what babyface team Joe and Magnus will feud with after this. Maybe, just maybe, they will feud with Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns, if Chris Sabin gets back from injury in time for Lockdown. I'll put that out there.
Would be interesting, yes.
After this, we get a segment with none other than Brandon Jacobs, the New York Giants Super Bowl winner. And I think what we must take into account here, NJ, I know we don't really like this whole Brandon Jacobs thing, but let's face it, TNA are trying to get ratings, and they've got a Super Bowl winner there from the New York Giants. He's probably going to, even though it hasn't shown in the last TV show, he's probably going to be bringing in ratings because of the fact he's won the Super Bowl and creating mainstream buzz, and that's probably why they did this.
But the fact that TNA, yes, they make odd appearances in the UK, it's mainly in the US, and obviously they've got to use US celebs, US sports people, so using him, yes, he could be big in the States, and he's obviously having an appearance in what needs to be more viewers, they need to get more fans in, so I understand it, even though when it comes to a wrestling show, you don't really want him to be getting too involved and making wrestlers who obviously want to progress and look a bit downhill.
Yeah, I mean, this is essentially setting up the little thing between him and Bully Ray. He's only been signed for 2 TV shows, so we knew the payoff would be on this show. So in the next coming weeks, they can focus on what's really important, and that is getting Bully Ray on the pay-per-view card and the feud's heading towards Victory Road. He comes out talking about just drinking Buddy James Storm and how he's in Bully Ray's backyard, and he's inviting him to the ring to come down, but Bully Ray just comes down to the ring and just mocks the fuck out of Brandon Jacobs, saying he only got 50 yards in the Super Bowl and, he's a champion and Brandon Jacobs is a champion, but he's a 23-time champion. It was good mic work by Bully Ray.
Again, you do expect him from Bully Ray. I did expect him to come out and lay his words out. And it was really good to have his say. But then the segment for me got a bit worse. When Brandon was calling him into the ring, Bully Ray came down to the old love to kick your ass. It didn't happen. Brandon came out and chased Bully Ray, and Bully Ray ran. For a heel, I expected more him maybe punching him or something strong for Bully Ray, not running away, not a TNA wrestler running away from him.
But we did find out in the main event probably why this happened, in the sense that they were trying to pay it off in that main event match, which, it kind of led up to that pretty well, so I can't knock this too much. Brandon Jacobs, he delivered his lines, but his timing was really off in my opinion. His promo wasn't that great, but he is a football player. I don't really expect him to have great mic skills.
Well, that's one thing I want to say about him. It looked like he was staring at a screen, reading his words. I just thought...
I mean, like we are right now.
Pretty much, because with the other wrestlers, again, they're trained, they're good at what they do, they can do it without looking, they're talking, all good, but him, obviously, he's a bit rusty because he doesn't do this sort of thing. But overall, the segment, it sets up what we're getting later, but the whole running, chasing Bully Ray, let it down for me.
We'll be giving them more of our thoughts about that in the main event. We got Alex Shelley versus Zima Ion in a match. Austin Aries coming down ringside with the popcorn and the drink. Oh, fucking hell, how funny was that? I love Austin Aries as the X Division champion. Best champion in TNA right now, in my opinion.
Well, the good thing about him coming down, he's watching his future opponents here. He's got Zima Ion, who's got the match at the pay-per-view, and Alex Shelley, who I'm pretty sure there's going to be another match later on.
Hopefully.
So the fact that he's coming down, watching this match, causing distraction accidentally... Again, I really like the fact that he's getting involved in this segment.
It's funny how things turn over a month, isn't it? At this time last month, you had Alex Shelley beating Zima Ion to prove he was the number 1 contender. And now you've got Zima Ion, who is now the number 1 contender, defeating Alex Shelley. Zima Ion is the number 1 contender. The match went about 4 minutes. It was generally pretty action-packed. Zima Ion gets the victory after he sprays hairspray in the face of Alex Shelley. I thought that was a nice way to end the match. It's not entirely clean, but you've got to give Zima Ion the win here because he's the number 1 contender. If you give Shelley the win, it just doesn't really do well for your number 1 contender.
Again, for an X Division match, it did play well. The cheat win, yes, you didn't make Shelley look 2 weeks. He had to cheat to beat Shelley, and it was good. Again, Ion's a win ready for Aries, so it did its job. It's just obviously the bigger match is eventually going to be Shelley and Aries again.
Again, yeah, which will probably happen at maybe Lockdown, or I don't know. It could happen at any point. I don't know, but. Generally, a good X Division match is going to lead to a heel versus heel match at the pay-per-view, which could be interesting considering Zima Ion's character at the moment is kind of really jumping off the screen.
And talk about X Division, we did get a video package from the injured Jersey Sorensen.
We got that later on in the night, that whole thing with his mum.
I just thought, as his X Division combined, and it's a shame that he's injured, but it's good that TNA are still paying his tribute to him while he's injured before he comes back. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to set up some kind of big return for him, isn't it? I mean, essentially, the whole way they're hyping this guy up, coming back from the injury, he's going to have a big return at some point. I think he will be a big deal for TNA once he comes back.
It'll be a good challenger for the champ at the time, so I look forward to it.
But one video package we did get was the whole thing with Garrett Bischoff. This went on for a couple of minutes, didn't it? I mean, can TNA not go 1 week without her doing this Garrett Bischoff stuff? I mean, I appreciate they're trying to continue on this storyline to essentially what's going to be a match at Lockdown, but, Jesus Christ. Could we not just have 1 week without the whole Garrett Bischoff thing?
Are you ready to go against your father? Because he's going to make your life a living hell if you go ahead with this.
Yes, we've all been there. Madison Rayne also thinks she's good competition for Gail Kim, eh?
Yeah, this whole Gail Kim and Madison Rayne, I'm going to complain about it because, again, Madison Rayne is not someone we want to see go against Gail Kim. Gail Kim, when she came into TNA, big star, going straight to the top, all that. And now Madison Rayne, she's not been moving anywhere in TNA. So having this match, yes, she tried to explain why she did it, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why Madison Rayne has been put in this spot at all. It really doesn't really interest me that much to see Gail Kim versus Madison Rayne. I'm just going to put it that way, especially the way they did it. So I'm not really sure why they're driving this storyline forward, but in our main event, we got Gail Kim versus ODB, who came out of Eric Young, of course. And with the fact that, let's face it, last week the rating wasn't very good, but the Knockouts rating was by far the best. So you can't blame TNA for putting the Knockouts in our main event. I think that is a good idea for TNA, knowing the drawing power of the Knockouts.
Well, talking about the Knockouts, we've got two not good Knockouts in my opinion. We have Gail Kim, as I said, progressed. She's at the top now. And ODB, we've seen her in great matches in the past.
Got a great reaction.
Very true. And the fact she's in this match, forget about Eric Young. These two, again, I'm thinking this is going to be a quality, strong match, which I was expecting before the match started.
Yeah, got 6 minutes. Gail Kim gets a clean victory, which is exactly what needed to happen. During the match, we had Madison Rayne coming down to the ring, and she kind of semi-celebrated with Gail Kim after the match. You know, it's not that it was a bad segment. I can't fault TNA for this segment and the booking of it. It's just that I do not want to see Madison Rayne versus Gail Kim, especially the way they've done it with the whole friendship thing going on.
Well, you said about the booking. I thought the match was good. I'm going to give it that. I enjoyed it. But the whole Eric Young getting involved and then...
A lot less than usual.
Still
a lot, though. Still a lot.
Still too much. And it ruined the match for me. I was enjoying how they were wrestling, going great. Eric Young coming into the ring, apron. It just really ruined it for me. And the whole, as Dan said, the match that we're getting at the pay-per-view, I'm not looking forward to. And it's not a great match for Kim.
A filler match for a filler pay-per-view, I guess. Oh, God. We had AJ Styles versus Robbie E. And the first thing that jumps off the screen to me is the fact that you had AJ Styles previously talking about going after the World Heavyweight Championship and that this whole Daniels and Kazarian thing is behind him now. But is it me, or when I saw this match, I was thinking to myself, fucking hell, AJ Styles in the same ring as Robbie E? What the fuck? And the fact this match went on for 5 minutes. 5 minutes, AJ Styles and Robbie E. Are you fucking having a laugh? It was for the TNA TV title. I just wanted AJ Styles to win him. I mean, imagine if you added that TV title to that feud between AJ and Daniels and Kaz. How much it could make that TV title mean something, but you're keeping it on Robbie E.
Well, the way I see it is that, again, AJ Styles and Robbie E, the way I would have done it is, yes, the match was going to happen, obviously, it was booked, but Robbie E winning doesn't really do anything but AJ Styles, and what I would eventually have had is Robbie E's partner to actually turn on him and then go for a singles career, but we didn't get that either, and we just have Robbie E retaining. And I just really thought that AJ did not deserve this. But it does continue the whole Daniels, Kazarian, and AJ feud.
I mean, if you look at the way they booked it, Robbie E was essentially an afterthought, which is exactly how it should be. AJ Styles carried Robbie E to a good quality match in terms of... For a Robbie E match, is what I'm talking. It's not that great of a match, but AJ Styles managed to carry him to a somewhat good match. During the match, you had Daniels and Kaz coming down to the ring to cause a DQ, and Kaz was much less constrained this time, wasn't he? And that surprised Christopher Daniels a little bit. At least that kind of furthers on the storyline a little bit, the fact that Kaz wasn't afraid to really knock on AJ Styles' back door.
No, maybe it's showing more that Kazarian's buying what Daniels is making him do, and he's actually coming stronger now, and Kazarian's actually, I believe, will heal eventually. But I don't know where they're going to go, but eventually they're going to probably get AJ and Daniels again.
At least this segment led on to the story a little bit more, because we do need to get some more to this story if we can buy into it a bit. Just the fact that AJ should, in my opinion, AJ should just sort of beat Robbie E, and then so should have just done something after the match and give the TV title to AJ, in my opinion. Just saying, I just can't believe AJ was in a match with Robbie E. I can't believe it.
That's what I believe. Yeah, it was pretty bad that we got that,
And AJ also wants a gauntlet match next week with Kaz and Daniels, apparently. Will he get it? We don't know.
It could be an interesting match, just depending on how the outcome is of this and who they want to put strong going to the feud.
So that pursuit over the world title might have to wait a little bit, eh? It's going to be Daniels and AJ at Lockdown, isn't it? That's what it's leading to. The main event of the evening, as Borash would say, was Bully Ray and Kurt Angle versus James Storm and Jeff Hardy, I should say. And this was announced as a no DQ match. Just then, I was like, wow, this wasn't advertised as a no DQ match. They just kind of shoved that in there, didn't they?
The only part that actually explained that it could be no DQ is backstage early in the night, you had James Storm whisper in
for Brandon's
ear.
Yeah,
I'm guessing,
come to ringside.
Yes, maybe whisper that it's going to be a no DQ match or something, but it wasn't actually announced to us, so it kind of led this match to be a bit of out the blue. But
I mean, as this was Brandon Jacobs' second, the last time he would appear on Impact, you had to realise that this was going to be the payoff, and the fact that it was an ODQ match, it was all done. I mean, there was no DQ elements in the match. It was all done just to facilitate the fact that Jacobs was going to get in the ring at some point. It's like, if it's a no DQ match, surely he can just get in the ring whenever he likes and interfere. But the ref kept stopping him. It was like, was it no DQ match? Because the ref kept stopping him, and that annoyed me slightly. I just didn't see why this match needed to be no DQ. Why don't you just run this angle you did at the end of the match, possibly?
All I'm going to say is the fact, I know the ref should have done what he did, but with the ref doing that, it actually gave the match time.
Yes.
And for a main, because it could have finished like that with him at the ringside, but the fact the ref kept him out, gave the match some time, made the main event pretty long, and I give that a thumbs up for TNA.
You know, essentially this segment was all about getting Jacobs to, the whole payoff to that whole Jacobs thing, which is a ratings ploy, of course. Basically, Jacobs chokeslams Bully Ray through the table, which is the payoff to this feud. This is the reason why the no DQ stipulation was there. I can't complain too much about the match, but I mean, I can understand why TNA would do this in terms of a ratings ploy. It's kind of getting TNA out there more in the mainstream a little bit, and this is it was a decent way to pay off the feud. It's only like a little mini feud, but I just hope from now on, after next week, no more Brandon Jacobs. Let's focus on what you're going to get Bully Ray, James Storm, Angle, and Jeff Hardy doing at the pay-per-view, rather than putting the focus on Brandon Jacobs.
Because now he's gone, TNA do need to concentrate on their future, and Bully Ray was on a big roll, so they need to get him back onto that roll and more in the right direction to us get to like the feud that he's in, give him direction, give the pay-per-view another match. So hopefully we can get that next week.
Yep. Main event segment of the night was this whole Sting retirement angle, which was quite interesting because Sting put on his Twitter, "I'm done," and the thing that comes to my head was he could have been done just doing his wallpapering, or could have been done getting dressed.
No, I actually believe he's done. Bob Roode kicked his ass, laid him out, and bye-bye Sting.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just talk about the real segment. You had Sting talking about all the stress surrounding his job, and he's been pushed over the edge over the edge even by Bobby Roode. And then out comes Bobby Roode, and you have Bobby Roode, talking about the retirement. Yes, I had needed to be here while you said the retirement. Then you have the whole little change of the segment where Sting all of a sudden just goes from to ha ha ha. So we're reliving the Joker gimmick again, and I must admit, I didn't like the Joker gimmick when it was consistently featured on TV. But if it's only going to be doing like a couple of times, I won't mind the Joker gimmick too much. He starts putting face paint on himself and saying that Bobby Roode has woken him up. I thought this was a quite nice way to end the show, because it's setting up that main event at Victory Road, which I feel could have good consequences, even though I'm not sure I really want to see the match.
The way I see it is that I think what would have been better is had the whole woken up thing. I would have preferred Bobby Roode versus Sting, not the Joker gimmick, just a match which was Sting versus Bobby Roode, and just kept it like that. The Joker gimmick I wasn't a fan of, and that was one of the reasons why I couldn't take Sting seriously when I started watching TNA. So again, they're going down the Joker route just for this match, but it just wasn't one I was wanting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good main event segment to set up that match at Victory Road. Roode versus Sting at Victory Road. While it's a match I don't really want to see, if we look at it logically here, if Roode gets a clean win over a guy like Sting, it's a big win for a guy like Bobby Roode, and it gets him a clean win before his match with James Storm at Lockdown. So from that point of view, I can understand why they might do it. Sting is still a name. Even though he is 10 years late, he's still a name in the wrestling world, and to have Bobby Roode maybe go against him and go over him at Victory, which I assume they will do in a non-title match, it would be good for Bobby Roode, because he doesn't need a clean win, and he doesn't have any clean wins as champion.
Well, the way I see it, they built up this feud pretty well between Bobby Roode and Sting, and the fact that Sting is a guy who's put people over, and he's at the time where he's at that place. If he's going to wrestle, he's going to put people over now. And why not put over the World Heavyweight Champion and give him a good win before the
before lockdown? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So depends how you look at it, really. But what are your overall thoughts on this show?
Again, other than the match is not getting the greatest amount of time, majority of the matches had meaning to them, and it actually led to something that we could look forward to. And overall, the matches made sense. There weren't too much boring filler. So overall, I was quite satisfied with what we got.
I mean, it wasn't a very strong show in my opinion, but it wasn't a bad show. But I was definitely satisfied with what I got. I mean, you had the whole Sting retirement thing, which is leading to Victory Road. The X Division things leading to something at Victory Road. The Knockouts feud, which I don't like too much, is leading to something at Victory Road. We've already got our main event at Lockdown. You could see that Victory Road is kind of a filler pay-per-view in a way, just to set up Lockdown, which I kind of feel it is, that they've got the main event announced already. But I mean, overall, it was a somewhat entertaining show. Most of the segments made sense. The whole Brandon Jacobs thing We had the payoff for that, which is hopefully will pay off in the ratings. Because last week's show the rating was not good at all considering how good the show was. But I mean, I'll give this show like a C plus, a B minus if I'm being generous. I think you would pretty much echo that. I mean, it wasn't a bad show. It wasn't a great show. It was just it was a satisfying show.
Well, the fact that things are leading to something, and the fact that the entertainment was there in some segments, I'm going to give it a B minus because I just felt satisfied with what we got, and I'm looking forward to seeing how TNA progress from here.
Yeah, I mean, after next week, after this show, we're pretty much going to be building into Victory Road now properly without the whole Brandon Jacobs stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got for guys like James Storm, who's the #1 contender, Buddy Ray, who's pretty much the top heel right now in TNA, despite Bobby Roode being the champion. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to give us, and I think we won't really probably find out until next week what we're going to be getting at Victory Road. So I look forward to next week just to see what we're going to be getting at Victory Road, what else we're going to be getting apart from those couple of matches we already know. So there we go. C plus B minus show, satisfying show. Make sure you get your thoughts, of course, down in the comment section below. Give us your thoughts on this show, and much like most wrestling promotions do, they usually end with the most important, biggest draw, best thing they've got, and that's what we're doing at the British Fist. NJ, do your outro.
Buddy Ray is awesome. And all I'm saying now is, people, thank you for watching another review by us, the British Fist, from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. Till next time, people. Goodbye.